Ready? All right, let's call this meeting of the Marion County Board of Supervisors to order. Jake, roll call, please.
Keisha Johnner. Here. Mark Ramey.
Here.
Steve McCombs. Here.
Would entertain a motion on today's agenda.
Make motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
Jake?
McCombs. Aye. Ramey.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
Very good communications. Jake?
Nothing that's not on the agenda.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Public comments is the portion for the public to speak on items not listed on this morning's agenda. The board cannot act on those items, but they could be topics for future meetings. Are there any public comments on items not listed on this morning's agenda?
Good morning, Board. Steve, on behalf of Marion County EMS Association, condolences. I'd like to speak about the EMS Association and the EMS Essential Service.
Cal, can I stop you a minute? That's item number 1 on our agenda.
But it's not for discussion.
Yeah, we're gonna postpone it for 2 weeks because I want to give you a full meeting. We've got a lot to cover today, including a land request from the city of Knoxville.
I understand that, but
But
I guess,
I do believe since it is a receive and file, he can't discuss, he can make a public comment.
yes.
No,
He should,
no.
I believe, via.
It's on the agenda to receive and file, just like we do with comp board and other things, to recognize that we're going to put this on the agenda in 2 weeks, and you'll be item number 1. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's what I was going to say on item number 1. But we have it. That's what we'll do.
Well,
Okay?
I mean, he should, I think
No.
point of order is, I
No.
think we need to ask counselor, legal counsel, can public comments, because it is a file and receive, there is no discussion item.
Yeah, when we list it on the agenda, it's to show we've received it and we will make it a future agenda item, just like we do with comp board, and we don't do this with comp board. So it's not, otherwise we're going to have a meeting on this and the receive and file goes out the window.
How long is yours gonna take?
I've rehearsed it. I'm under 3 minutes.
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I think they need to be able, during public comments, this is a public comment
Okay.
portion. We do not have to act. We're listening to public comments.
Yeah, it's, all right, we're out of order, but go ahead.
Today, the Marion County EMS Association asked the Marion County Board of Supervisors to remove Mark Ramey from the EMS Advisory Committee and replace the open seat with one of the other board members. About a year ago, we stood before this board to form the EMS Association, to form the EMS Advisory Committee. Today, we stand here, instead of coming to you with a solution, we stand here disappointed. We are disappointed that we are not allowed to have open, direct, and honest conversations about EMS, and we are disappointed that we feel like our voices are not being heard. We've been voted out of meetings, not invited to meetings, and now today, here we are again, not able to openly discuss our request with the supervisors because of failure to place it on the agenda. The committee has met and worked hard for the last year. This is our job and our passion, and I can say with great confidence that every one of us has taken our jobs very seriously, and we want nothing more to improve EMS in Marion County. If I remember correctly, it was about the second meeting that we had, there was pretty much a unanimous agreement that EMS needed to be made essential. That was pretty point blank and obvious. I think it's important that we do not lose sight of the initial task at hand to deem EMS an essential service. That task has been completed in our conversations with the State Bureau of EMS. When this process is done correctly, it can take about a year. We did not start on the correct path, which could lead to anything established by the EMS committee being voided. The process starts when the Board of Supervisors votes to make EMS essential. This is the trigger of timelines for public hearings and the EMS Advisory Council to be formed to complete the rest of the process, including distribution of funds. While the EMS Council may be some of the same people as the EMS Committee, their roles will be different. When Marion County Public Health Director stated that the EMS Committee was at a standstill, the public was confused and frustrated, and so were we. It is our opinion that the last couple meetings were productive. We had reached a lot of agreements. There has been several plans presented. 3 or 4 came from Marion County Public Health and Mark, and 1 from the EMS services. That was not given any consideration. While we were still able to work through these proposals, we were able to make compromises and move towards a proposal that we could all agree on. While we are not at a standstill, we continue to feel like we continually come upon roadblocks that are being placed in front of our path because of one party's opinion. We are still able to plan to get our plan completed, and we are still able to complete the task assigned to us by the Board of Supervisors. We just need to remove a roadblock and replace them with someone who is open-minded, willing to listen, and not just push their agenda. We ask the Marion County Board of Supervisors to act on this request as submitted so that we can get back to doing the work that we were tasked to do by this board. If we can remove some roadblocks, the path to a mutually agreeable proposal could be in the very near future, as we are very close to having a proposal ready to present to this board. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your comments, and as stated, this will be on another meeting, and we'll have a robust discussion at that time. I'm supportive of the EMS. Okay.
It's public
But-
comments.
Yeah, that's right, I'm sorry. I don't know how this process works apparently.
Well, nor do I, apparently. So, public comments on any other items not listed on this morning's agenda? I'll wait to respond in 2 weeks. And I will respond. All right. Moving on, consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I move, we approve today's consent agenda.
I'll second.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
All right, very good, thank you. On the business, as I stated, we have a receive and file for the Marion County EMS Association letter of request. As I stated before Cal made his comments, we'll put this as agenda item number 1 in 2 weeks. We have a lengthy agenda, including a closed session. I don't want to be here for 3 hours. So I want to give the EMS folks a meeting where we don't have other items to detract from what they have to say. So 2 weeks, Cal, you'll be item number 1. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
I'll second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. All right. On to disposition of the VA campus. We have a land request from the city of Knoxville. Glenn, Heather? Remember, I'm not open-minded, so go ahead.
Well, I'll try to be.
Okay.
We're, as you know, we're in partnership with city and the county in the development of the VA. You've invested over 11 million in the acquisition, demolition, and removal of infrastructure. And the city to date has invested over 5 million in developing Veterans Park and the trail system and the first 34 lots in what we're calling phase 1. The good news is the park and trail system is complete and on budget, and the splash pad will be open probably in May, but with the weather, who knows? And we've sold the first 11 lots, and 9 of them are currently under construction. And we're speaking with those 2 builders who bought 10 of them.
Can you speak into the mic?
Oh, sorry. Those 2 builders to build, to buy some more. There's other interest in the lots. And so I'm guessing we have a 3-year supply, and we've just finished year 1. In addition to that, we're trying to work with multifamily developers because we have some areas within the Veterans District that are set aside for that. The one area of greatest interest is the south side of Pleasant, where the doctors' houses and the nurses' quarters were. You demolished that a year and a half ago or more. And we actually have had 3 solid conversations with developers on one offer to acquire the eastern 3 acres of that for a housing project, seniors affordable apartments. It's subject to a grant tax credit application. And in order to continue those discussions, as well as with the others of interest, another one is looking at a workforce housing tax credit apartment project. So that would be market rental. We really need to transfer the land, as we did with phase 1 lots, from the county to the city so that we can conclude those agreements, working with the Joint Development Committee, and make the kind of commitments that we need to make for those developers to do their applications. This first seniors rental project, the application is due on April 15. So time is of the essence in that regard. The others that we're talking to, the applications would be due in May or June. We're asking the Board of Supervisors to consider this request. And if you're prepared to do that, which is how the 2080 envisions that kind of change, we'd ask you to go through that public process in March to officially transfer ownership from the county to the city of Block A. It's the area shown in green on your map. It's about 6.67 acres. There's some part of it that will be easement area because of the trail and a 100-year-old bur oak tree that we've committed to SHPO to maintain. So the net area, we'd take the whole area, we'd subdivide it, put the easements in, and then there'd be about 6.25 acres that we can sell for development. The expectation is that if these two projects that I've described, the seniors project and the market rental project come to fruition, we'll have 98 units in 3 apartment buildings, and included in the 98 units would be 20 townhouses. We've not seen development like this for a long time.
I think you get too much out of it.
Or do you have any questions for Glenn?
Senior housing part of it, would their rent be based on their
And the rents would be restricted to a percentage of their income.
Well, it sounds like a pretty good idea to me. I personally know that there's a need for that.
Well, in the study that the county conducted in 2016 for the Knoxville market, your consultants identified a need for over 300 seniors housing of all kinds. And we haven't built a single unit since then.
Well, I'm glad to see it's going forward. I mean,
Interesting.
Well,
that's positive.
Well, I think it does two things, Glenn. I mean, we talked about it conforming to the confluence discussions that we had.
Right.
Which I thought were very robust. They involved the community input, input from the board, input from the city, where we wanted to go. And then the housing study, as you referenced, it lines up very nicely with what were identified as gaps in housing. So I think it fits with what we intended that area to be in terms of development. So,
And if I may, I think we've mentioned it both to Keisha and to Mark in passing. We've been working with Confluence to do some revisions to the master plan based on what we're learning in terms of housing need and market demand and things like that. And you'll still recognize the plan, but the fine tuning will be helpful going forward as well.
Yeah,
I-
to what you spoke, that side basically fits that.
Yeah.
That plan.
It
because of
does.
The narrow.
Just, Glenn, does there need to be a lift station at all there or?
Not in this location.
Okay,
We can use gravity for this first 3 acres, the
Okay.
seniors project. The 3 acres to the west on this property, we'll probably use, they'll probably put in a grinder pump or something like that. So we'll string a line near where the electric poles are in the front, and then a sanitary line, and they'll connect. We're trying to avoid that investment for as long as we can.
right, no. I'm glad to see there's interest. I don't have an issue with this.
Steve?
Nor do I. I
So-
in
Sure.
favor of it.
So agreement with this will then trigger a series of meetings and public hearings that we have to go through, similar to what we did when we transferred the, I don't know, what do we call that, Glenn, that block of housing, the phase 1? Okay. Jake?
So, just for order, if moving forward, I think from a logistical standpoint, if I remember right, and Heather and I were communicating just a little bit earlier, when the Veterans Park, that first section went, I believe the actual 20E agreement has to be amended. So there's a couple different directions that if they have a tight timeline that need to get going fairly quickly.
That is correct.
So there will be, I think, and if not, that'd be fine. I mean, it is what it is. It'll have to get reviewed by council.
Yep.
But I believe your 2080 agreement between the city and the county will have to be amended for carving out that next portion.
Mhm.
And then also, if it's disposition of land, the other track would be public notice, public hearing, resolution, what just went through like for 104, South Sixth, that process. So I think two different things would need to be moving at the same
Now,
time.
Jake, we had, in terms of defining the property or the defining the ground that we were transferring, we had a little bit of a, not an issue, but we had to go through that process. What about this section?
Okay, so legal description is always another issue. So I think the last time, or with the Veterans Park, I think that's why the 20E was amended, we think. But to transfer from that big block, that 150 acres or whatever's left, to get that piece out, you have to have an identifiable description. And I think we have that now. Garden and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they're kind of two different surveys. There's only one actual recorded survey. So there was a survey done by Garden Associates several years ago defining the whole boundary of that property. And they laid out this section that's kind of highlighted in yellow as area 4, description number 4, that has a good meets and bounds description. So I believe, we've been talking to Ann a little bit in my office and with Heather, that I believe that referencing that description number, that description area 4 with that meets and bounds description, and then referencing the book and page that Garden and Associates survey is recorded on, meets the needs to get the legal description to carve out that next piece. The last time with the Veterans Park, there wasn't anything. And so that's why we had to slow down and get, I think we used the boundary of the subdivision and called it parcel J. So the county actually transferred parcel J
Mhm.
to the city of Knoxville, and then Knoxville approved the subdivision. So in this case, it would be very similar to it being area 4, for lack of a better term, of survey from, it was way back in 2012 or something.
Right.
That's right.
Something, so that would be the description. So that's what would be used on the amendment to the 28E, assuming you only want to carve out that one piece, not do more. I mean, that's a decision for you guys to make. And then that's the description that will be transferred to the city.
Right. Glenn, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, what Jake is describing is correct. It can be easier and faster because we have a legal description now. While the county is going through this process, should you choose to proceed with 2080 amendment, you'll be working with the city council, of course, and through your process to transfer the ownership to the county, that public process, while you're doing that, the city will be working with the developer on the necessary letters of support, the development agreement that's associated with the application and the conditional sale agreement. And those things will be vetted by the Joint Development Committee, which of course includes Mark on the 3-person committee. So that process will be happening in parallel with you. And our goal is that if the transfer can occur in your second March meeting, the approval for it, then we can basically, council can approve our sale and development agreements on our April 5th, I believe it is, council meeting. And I think the application is actually due April 10.
Okay.
And the only other thing I'll say about this is the next time, we're going to come a lot sooner. Because the developers move faster than we do when they have an interest, and we need to get ahead of the game just so that we don't have to run every time.
No, appreciate that, Glenn.
Now, just to note a little bit, but a couple of details, Glenn, if you want to stay up there, that's fine. The builder is applying for tax credits,
Yes.
correct? So one of the issues, just to keep in mind, board, is that if that application were to fail, then there wouldn't be no building. We would have to wait for another,
We'd remarket the land.
yeah, remarket the land.
But
So
we'd be in a position to move it quickly.
So just understand that there is some contingent issues here that could, once we transfer the land, Knoxville will have it, they will remarket it or do whatever they have to do then to get some development on it.
And the same goes if we do the workforce application for the 50 units on the
Well,
website.
it's obviously in your best interest to stay on top of it.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah. Yeah, we're not messing around. You know, when we get a chance to strike, we will.
So Jake, do you have a copy of the 2080 as amended?
We do.
Can you get that to Jared? So
We
we can
will,
start that
and-
review process. Jared, are you okay with receiving that and starting that and
And-
then? No,
And
go
not
ahead.
to speak for Jared or for the board last time, I believe, I always forget which of the two attorneys that the county uses at Allers. That attorney did the actual last 2080 amendment. So I don't know if you want to go that direction on that. And then Ross generally does the real estate disposition. However that lays out, but that's how it worked last time.
So let's do this then. If the board would, if somebody would make a motion to agree to the disposition and transfer of land to the city of Knoxville as referenced in the presentation, since we don't have a pure legal description yet, something to call that, that would be great. And we'll get this process launched if everybody's in agreement.
I make the motion regarding the disposition of the VA campus as spoke about in this meeting.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
Very good. Glenn, thank you. Heather, thank you. Good start. Yeah, it's great what's going on over there. Next, resolution 2024-23 is our employee benefit plans. And this is reauthorizing our employee benefit platform. Lisa, do you want to take us through that? I'm going to ask you to dual or multitask here. You have to run back and forth. We'll be okay.
I need my exercise. So before you here is resolution 2024-23. Just setting the rates that we talked about previously in previous meeting. We're going to hold the health insurance employee premiums. The county will absorb that part this year. Dental stayed the same, and then also the vision rate stayed the same. So any questions?
Board, any questions for Lisa?
Make motion to approve resolution 2024-23.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jake?
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to go into public hearing?
Making the motion to go into public.
Yes.
I move we go into public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. We're in public hearing, and we're talking about Roberts Creek and Cabins. Chris, you are pitch hitting for Steve.
That is correct.
All right, go ahead.
Well, this is just a public hearing, just to basically ensure that we can go out to bid. You know, we've been working on these cabins now for well over a year. Steve and I have been putting the design phase together. We're at the stage where we're ready to release for bid, hopefully on March 8th, pending board approval. And these cabins, once again, to remind the public, were earmarked through ARPA funds. So I would entertain any questions you all have for that.
Okay, board, questions for Chris?
I have none. We've had these discussions several times, so I'm fairly familiar with it.
Yeah, it's a public hearing portion. I don't know if anybody from the public has
Yeah.
any questions.
All right,
I don't have any questions.
motion to close public hearing then.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye, very good. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I'm next.
Oh, you're next too?
Yeah, we also have to do a resolution.
Resolution 2024-22, which is approving the specific contract relative to Roberts Creek Park project.
And I do have a PDF available of the plans. If you guys want it on the screen.
That's fine.
Any issues, board?
I think this is, I don't have any issues. Chris, I think this will be a very nice amenity. I hear that there's been quite a few people that have asked about them and when they're coming and, so
That is correct.
do we have any idea, in regards to when these would be completed?
Well, if we're able to go out to bid, pending board approval on the 8th, we would receive bids on the 22nd, open those sealed bids, present, obviously lowest bid to the board. You guys would approve. We would enter into a standard AIA contract. I know it's one of the questions on the contract we would use. That's typical what we've used across the board in every infrastructure project. And then hopefully, first thing this spring, which seems like it's today, we could start digging holes and putting concrete in. So our anticipation is with award of contract, we would start work in April. And then we would be hopefully done by the end of the year.
Very
Spring
good.
will be over by the end of the day.
I think spring's supposed to end today, and then I believe it's -13 tomorrow morning with the wind chill, and I'm actually not joking about that, so. 13.
All right.
Welcome to Iowa. Yeah, for the public, if they want to see, if you go scroll down, I'll tell you when to stop, Lisa. Right there's main level plan. These are 1,400 square foot main level, 1,400 square foot walkout basement. 4-bedroom, 2-bath cabins, and they are going to be premier cabins. So Steve and I have worked on this design for well over a year now. If you scroll down, go down one more past that, there's an outside rendering of what the elevation would look like. North, the walkout side, which is the windowed side with the deck, that's all facing the lake. And these 3 cabins will be semi-separate from one another to give you kind of a nice, more confined feel. You're not going to be bothered by neighbors. But that old archery range offered a lot of wooded area. We've got them fairly separate. I think they're going to be a great addition to the conservation department.
Great. Questions? None.
Nope.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2024-22.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
All right.
All right, thank you, board.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Next, Class C retail alcohol license renewal for KLN. Is there anybody here to speak on that renewal?
It's just a standard. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if they're here. I doubt it. We get notification from the Alcoholic Beverages Division when they have completed all their process with Dram Shop and all that. So Alcoholic Beverages Division notified us that they're ready to go. It's a renewal. I don't believe there was any changes.
Okay.
So
Jason, any issues? All right, very good. Board?
Nope.
All right, is there a motion?
Entertain a motion to approve the Class C retail alcohol license renewal application for KLN Entertainment.
Second.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
All right. Next, we have the mental health advocate position request. Renee, are you on? Or Rachel? Sorry.
I am, that's okay. So I guess I'll just give a little bit of a background for everybody. So I'm Rachel Cecil. I am the Director of Regional Operations for the Heart of Iowa Community Services and the Cross Mental Health and Disability Service Region. This request is specific to Cross. Mental health advocates are required by statute. Every county is required to appoint an advocate. Currently, Marion County has a contract with Polk County for use of their advocate. In the Cross region, we have 5 other counties that have 2 other advocates that are employed through contracts. One of those advocates has given her notice, and another advocate is retiring. So it's long been kind of a dream of the region to have one advocate serve the region. So we thought with these circumstances, it was the good time to bring this to the boards. The region's responsibility related to advocates is simply payment. We cannot employ the advocate. It has to be through a different entity. So the Cross Board had this discussion, I think they had it 3 meetings in a row, and came to hoping that Marion County would employ the advocate, as Marion is the population center for the region, as well as has the highest amount of commitments in the region. So I had approached Kim Dorn and asked if they would be willing to supervise the advocate under the public health umbrella. And she had some discussions and was agreeable to that. So we are coming today to ask for approval for the position. And then also we would want to start the agreement process with the other cross counties. So Marion County would need to enter into a 2080 agreement with the 5 other cross counties to say they would use the advocate as well. Questions?
Rachel, maybe a
Yeah.
little detail on the position and the funding stream, just so
Yeah.
everybody understands this is not coming out of Marion County's budget. This is being funded through the region.
Correct. Yep. So the region is now fully funded by state appropriation. So there are no county dollars left in the regional mental health system. So the position is funded by state dollars, flowed through flowed through the region to the counties for reimbursement. So we do pay fully for the position, travel, training, those types of things. So it is passed through through the county. The position is in statute, so the advocate is required to meet with individuals who are under a mental health commitment. They have certain timelines that they have to respond and meet with the individual, report to the court, and so forth.
Okay, questions, board?
Rachel, in regards to pass-through and the payment, that does include IPERS and insurance, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just got a few questions. So can you remind me again, what are the counties that are in our group? It's Lucas, Clark.
Decatur, Ringgold, Wayne, and Marion.
All right. Do we have any of these that are signing on already that are agreeing to this position?
No, so we've had that discussion at the cross board level. All of the supervisors that are appointed to the cross board, they have all shared agreement. So then it would go back to their individual counties. I would likely go to their board meetings and have the same kind of discussion we're having today and present that 28E to them.
Do you see any hiccups at all in regarding some of these counties not accepting?
You know, I don't think so. I would hope not. To be honest, most counties don't even realize they have an advocate in place. It's kind of something that's done and then forgotten about. And that's one of the reasons why in this new vision we have that we asked for supervision of the position. So I don't think it'll be an issue. We also have 4 additional counties that may have interest in joining in as well at some point. They still have their advocates in place at this time, though.
One last question
Yeah.
regarding the reorganizational bill. I know that's been a hot topic at the state. How would this affect that?
So the advocates sit outside of the regions. So if the reorganization bill it passes and they redraw our lines, the advocates are still in place. It's the funding mechanism that the regions have responsibility for. As far as I've seen in the bill, that funding mechanism hasn't changed. The counties would still bill the region, or it would now be the district. And we do have advocates that serve across region lines now. So that's not uncommon.
Yeah, just my concern would be this reorganizational bill. And then if all the counties weren't able to join on, and then I guess I don't know what would happen there, but then B would be the reorganizational bill. And then possibly if not knowing what the state would do, and then we hire a person and then soon they wouldn't have a job, that would be concerning, I guess, so, to me.
Well, the person hired will know this is state dollars, correct? Or
Yeah. I mean,
essentially
yeah,
dollars through the region,
Mhm.
correct? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of other contract positions. So, Jason, did you have a question? Okay, look at your question. All right. Steve, any questions?
No.
All right. Is there a motion to approve this position request?
So moved.
I'd like some I would be willing to second it. The only way I'd be willing to second it is if all these other counties sign on.
Okay.
If I have your guys' approval, I'm certainly happy to do that process first and take the 2080s to them first.
I would feel more comfortable with that.
That's fine. Doesn't, At the end of the day, with what the state's doing with mental health, this may last all of about 3 months and then go away. So who knows? So Keisha, are you making a conditional second or what are you doing?
Well,
Yeah, yeah, what's the motion?
yeah, he made the motion. I said it would be, but if she, I mean, I'd feel much more comfortable.
How about
If-
this?
if-
I'll second it. And then Rachel, if they don't sign on, come back to us and we'll revise.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Because there'll be a 2080 before you guys.
Yes,
Right. Okay.
that's correct.
Ready?
Yep.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
All right. Yeah, I understand the concern. So let's get the 2080. Rachel, come back and then we'll see where we stand. Resolution 2024-24, Tyler.
Yeah, it's great to come before you with some good news for once on a bid letting. So, on the 24th, we were, excuse me. Yeah, on the 24th of February, we received bids for the G28 pavement rehabilitation project, which includes milling and overlaying. And unknown to Marion County, the DOT combined another project we had with this one for one bid versus keeping it separate. So it federalized all projects and all dollars, which is a little bit frustrating. So we were not made aware of that until after it had already happened. So we had a federal aid overlay project and a state funded HSEP guardrail project, and now it's all federalized. But the good news is the cumulative project came in well under our estimates. Original estimate and budget was $5 million for the project, with the low bid being $3,738,935. And that's obviously significantly under 5 million, and that equals about 1 year's worth of allocation of farm to market funds. So in the future, that'll help us leverage for more federal dollars or do a standalone project with farm to market funds. So just so you know, the project is all 8.5 miles of G28 from Highway 14 to the Pella corporate limit, including milling with a asphalt interlayer and then 3.5 inches of traditional asphalt on top of that. It also includes a slight realignment over the Roberts Creek Dam to move us further away from the guardrail that was put in as part of the bike trail about 15 years ago. For driver comfort, for snow plowing, and we still maintain the parking that is there for fishermen and tourists of the lake. So,
Does that do, Tyler, realign that a little farther to the north then?
yes, it shifts the center line of the road about 3 feet north, so 3 feet further away from the cable rail on the south side.
Okay.
Yes. And then we will move the guardrail on the north as far north as we can as well, which will maintain that parking. We'll lose about a foot, which will still be 13 feet. So we'll have plenty of room there. And then it also includes the guardrail upgrade. So the guardrail currently doesn't meet standards that's out there that was put in adjacent to what is the old portion of the bike trail. And then when you add inches in an overlay, it's going to further exacerbate that not meeting the standard. So that guardrail, we applied for a separate grant to replace and upgrade that guardrail along the Volkswagen Trail. So if you recall, this $5 million was including, or had included $2 million of the Miller Meeks Community Project Fund grant that we had applied for about 2.5 years ago. So that 2 million is not part of our standard allocation. It was a competitive grant that we went after, and we were very fortunate to receive. And then 391,000 of the guardrail grant is also included in this project. There were 2 bids. We were hoping for 4 or 5 bids. However, it was still a competitive bid, and the good news is the asphalt emulsion prices, the binder is the most expensive part of the mix, is going down significantly, and that's where we had overestimated, because last year it was $850 to $1,000 a ton, and now we're seeing $550 to $650 a ton. So some big decreases there. And I know you'll ask, because you always do, it's not linear with your fuel prices because it's a different refining process. It's not parallel or linear. So we're very fortunate. We'll leverage these farm to market dollars for a future grant or another project, and Norris Asphalt's the low bidder, and we will have 4 projects now awarded to Norris for this coming construction season. So they will have a very busy summer and be with us most of the year. And we've worked with them in the past, and I recommend award of this contract.
Questions?
Thank you for the good news, Tyler.
Yeah.
It's nice for once.
Tyler, can you refresh my memory? When was this project, if approved? When would it possibly start? An end date?
We don't really know that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the late start date is August. Actually, that's the contract. I have to look at that. Because originally we had 2 separate projects, the guardrail and the overlay, and we didn't have a traditional late start. We had an estimated completion date because the projects were tied but not combined. So we could get the guardrail done before winter. So I actually need to revisit that. But the estimated completion date was originally for August
Very good.
24.
If there are no more questions, is there a motion?
Motion to approve resolution 2024-24.
Second.
Jake?
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Tyler. Updates, Steve?
I have a SERPTA meeting. We do have a SERPTA meeting tomorrow, right, Tyler? Okay, SERPTA meeting and tomorrow, and another third HERDA meeting Thursday for the month.
Great, all right. Keisha?
None.
All right, we have speaking of mental health, Rachel, I think we're on the docket for mental health this week. Is that correct? Am I remembering that right?
We normally meet this week, but we are not meeting. We have no action items.
That's It's all right, very
Free
good.
time.
Thank you. I would have gone and
Yep.
nobody would have been there. All right, very good. Thank you. All right. Would entertain a motion to go into closed session to adjourn from open.
Motion to go into closed session?
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. All right, we'll give a few minutes for the room to clear.
Reconvene from closed session February 27th.
All right, entertain a motion to reconvene from closed session.
Motion we reconvene into open session?
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
All right. The results of our discussion in closed session will precipitate 2 potential motions. The first one is to authorize Tyler Christian to enter into an agreement for our discussions in closed session. Is there a motion to do so?
Make that motion?
Second.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Second motion is to authorize county attorney to communicate in regard to the discussion of closed session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. Very good. Any other items for the good of the order? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
All right.